him, it's that Hatman. Hatman, man. I try to be scary, okay? Whatever. We've got a bit of a different video, but I'm sure you'll all bear with me, my lovely 20 subscribers. So all the sources that I have used today, I will link in the description so you can check those out. So I was talking to a friend and Hatman came up for some reason, and I remember this guy freaking the hell out of me. So I did a bit of digging and I've come up with this stuff. I'll give you a brief rundown on what the Hatman is. Some people believe he's a part of the shadow people, which is a form of entities, or for a simpler term, I guess, a spirit. I don't actually really know, so don't bear with me with that. It's a phenomenon yet to be proven due to how rare he is to see. Mostly seen in like low light areas or during sleep paralysis. Now, the Hatman wears a hat, usually a bowler hat, fedora. It varies on every single person. As a shadow entity, you can't really define any real details apart from his outline, but some people have said he's got eyes. Either dark red eyes or just two shiny dots, as this person said. Now, it's unclear on what he actually is. Some people say spirit, some people say, shadow person, some people say alien, but people have bumped into him, or so they've said. There's also been cases where he vanishes out of thin air, but there's also been cases where he just walks away. Now, this guy's an observer, so he won't actually try to harm or move things around your room. He will simply just observe. Maybe just to gain, a reaction from you, terror, but I'll get into that more. That's my theory. Sometimes you'll be wide awake and you'll see him. Sometimes you'll enter a REM sleep, wake up in sleep paralysis, and he will be towering over you, watching you. If you somehow manage to break the paralysis and touch him, he's not affected by your presence. You can feel him, but he has no reaction whatsoever. Now, I'm about to get into a story, but when I was going through, there's a whole website called the Hatman Project, where people just post their stories. And I noticed a pattern that a lot of kids, when they saw it, were around 6 to 7 years old. That could mean something, it could not, I have no clue. It was just something that came up as a pattern. December of 2017. When I was 13 years old, my friends and I had planned a sleepover to celebrate our friend's birthday. As we were winding down in the dark room, with the door slightly cracked, letting in some light. I can't remember what I was doing in the moment, but suddenly I saw a flash. It was similar to the effect of someone taking a flash photograph in the dark. I perceived a figure bent over our bed, approximately 7 feet tall, wearing a hat. While most people would describe the figure wearing a different hat, to me it appeared to be a bowler hat. The horror I felt was indescribable. I wasn't able to physically move or scream to wake anyone up. I tried to remain calm, but I couldn't understand who this was, or how they got into the house. Sighting happened so quickly, it was difficult to discern the exact details of the figure other than it was a large black mass wearing some form of hat. Despite witnessing this, I chose not to mention what I had seen, as I didn't want to frighten my friends or give the impression I was playing a prank on them. It was a few months later, we were sitting together at the lunch table, that I decided to bring up my experience of seeing a ghost at E's sleepover. However, before I could elaborate, my friend A interrupted me and confessed that she'd also seen the same ghost during that night. Intrigued, I quickly sketched out the figure and asked her to describe what she'd witnessed. Much to my surprise, her description matched mine. She'd seen the same tall man wearing a hat. Alright, so that wasn't word for word, but it gives the gist, alright? Now, my theory is that most spirits and entities feed off fear or just general exposure to people, Just as gods are. Without faith, their powers become meaningless. The more followers it has, the more power it gains. So, spirits, evil and good, hang around us waiting for the chance to gain that exposure or fear in around here. Perhaps studying what our reactions are like or what we'd act like in those moments of terror. Conclusion, the Hatman is something that hasn't been found out yet, or has a real answer to it at all. If I'm honest, it could. There's a book on it that identifies him, air quotation marks, but I haven't read it, so I have no idea. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed. This is a lot different to my usual content, so if you like it, you can tell me in the comments. If you don't, you can tell me I'm a card in the comments too. Either one.